Alrighty, folks, we are going to break down something Cody Sanchez said the other day about the best skill to have by 2030. We're going to do this with the one and only Stephen Dow. But Stephen, before we do that, please do that marketing spin so we can get into the conversation.
Although, again, I work very happily for Velocity Mortgage Capital. All the ideas and topics discussed on this channel are that of my own. So let's get it going.
Yeah, folks, if you don't know, marketing makes us say that every video so Stephen and I don't get in trouble. So yes, that is a requirement in each of our videos. But here we go. Cody Sanchez yesterday, Stephen said that by 2030, sales, what you do now, what I did for 30 years, is going to be the most valuable skill. Now, she breaks down sales into 3 other buckets. I will do that in a minute. But just generally speaking, in a world of AI coming, what say you? Is sales going to be the most valuable skill?
I'm going to say one of them, because I think blue collar kind of like jobs are going to be just as important, because AI can't really do that unless they start implementing robots into that stuff. And then that's a whole different story. But yeah, blue collar, trade skill sets are going to be very important as well. But yeah, sales in the almost 40 years of my, professional career, that's been the best skill set to ever have, period. So,
yeah,
I mean, almost in life, you're almost to some degree selling something every single day, either selling your position, selling your, as far as like
relationships, kids,
day,
it's all there.
Yeah,
sales is
all
everything.
Negotiations, brother.
Yeah, I agree with that. So she goes on to break down sales into 3 elements. I think there's more to this, and you and I will add more, I'm sure, but we'll start with what she said.
Okay.
Number 1 was communication. Again, I think the human connection is going to be something people are starving for in a world of AI. I think AI is just going to very quickly morph into AI slop. Everybody's going to feel the same, and
Robotic.
it's going to be it's like almost too perfect, frankly. And the human condition is not that. So I think the first thing she talks about is communication. I'd call that storytelling, right? And again, communication to me is both verbal, what you and I are doing now, but also don't sleep on the written word. That's another form of communication as well.
Agreed, 100%. How you frame it, certain verbiage, terminology is all gonna kind of impact, like you said, communication. Because again, you just want to convey a certain message, and sometimes if you're utilizing the wrong words, time, whatever else, yeah, that's key, because you really got to know the nuances of conversation, and also going back to what you said as far as the world starving for human connection. To this day, I get it every day. It's like people love the fact that I'm who I am.
A real guy, yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
I'm not like
real.
just by the book. I got like real emotions and I can understand certain things, but I bring a more personal approach to it all. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like a lot of times I involve a lot of humor because that's my personality.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of my clients really appreciate that because we keep it light. It doesn't have to be too serious. Like it's not life or death in a certain sense.
Yeah.
But yeah, I truly believe that human connection. That's where I shine. A lot of times people remember me years ago just because
Uncle Steve.
Exactly. So I've never had to change my cell phone number since I got it, really. So that was back in the early 90s. But anyway, yeah, I would agree 100% with Cody.
Yeah. So next up, she calls building relationships. This is your network, is your net worth. Again, yeah, I certainly see sales as building relationships because again, the bigger your Rolodex, the more people can help you. And also to me, it's not only who do you know, but who knows you.
Right.
It goes both ways. What do you think?
Again, let's see, someone's trying to call me. I apologize here.
That's okay. I don't hear it.
Oh, okay, good. Yeah, I mean, again, networking and communicating, again, that's part of the communication portion. Getting the word out to let everybody know what you do. Otherwise, no one can come find you and you're not going to get, kind of as much business if you're kind of passive in that way. So communication, that leads over into marketing as well to convey the right message. And yeah, but people knowing you as well is important. So networking and getting the word out, again, that's all part of sales.
Yeah. And again, building relationships is actually, it can go the other way. I mean, I've met plenty of people over the years that are just dicks. And I will do everything I can not to work with them, but also have others not work with them. So again, you got to be a good person. Building relationships. I think Warren Buffett says something like, it takes a decade to build a relationship and 5 minutes to destroy it. Never forget that.
Oh, man. definitely something to really pay attention to, because people are human beings, and they have their days and their moments, and sometimes just one episode of, oh, I didn't mean it, whatever. It's like using that analogy. You can nail a bunch of nails into a wooden fence, and to kind of say that every time you say something wrong or do something bad, that's a nail in the wooden fence. But then you apologize and you remove that nail, but you still got a hole in the wooden
Still
fence.
got-
So
Yeah.
too many holes in that wooden fence is gonna, you know what I'm saying? So there's only so
Yeah.
much opportunity to not mess up. So I would agree with them. You got to understand that dynamic of professionalism, and you don't want to cross the line too much. But agreed, building relationships, man, it's hard work. So
Yeah.
you got to stay consistent.
There you go. Her third and final one was follow-up. And again, this is something that I think most people fall down on. They're always worried about the next lead, the next contact, not realizing that it's the easiest sell is someone you've already sold well and made them happy, right? So again, the ability to follow up with your current client base, stay engaged, make sure that your name is front and center. Never give them a reason to go anywhere else.
Correct.
Follow up, follow up, follow up.
I say this a lot. My best ability is my availability. So I tell them often, hey, I pick up weekends, holidays, after hours. Just make it, legitimate that, hey, you got a hot one. They need to put it off for that day. Call me up.
Yeah.
But if it's something like, hey, I was thinking, just respect my time. That could probably wait till Monday. But I agree with you. Follow up, because again, follow up builds, trust. Like you said, you're going to do something, and you're going to follow through with it. Then be a man of your word. So I would agree with you, brother.
All right, here's the next one for you. These are now mine, not Cody's. These are, again, mine, not Cody's.
Mm-hmm.
The one where I see most people fail, because, again, when you're in sales, lots of people go, oh, I could do that, right? Lots of people go, oh, I'm smarter than you. I'm better than you. If you can do it, I can do it. And I kind of relate that to surfing, right? Surfing looks remarkably easy from the beach.
Oh, yeah.
It isn't until you get out on the water and you try to stand up until you realize how hard it is. And the thing I will anchor on with sales is the pressure, right? If you have weekly, monthly, quarterly
You're only as good
numbers,
as last month, man.
and I have been to many QBRs where there were what we called public executions.
Oh, Jesus.
People were brought up on stage, they were undressed for having a shitty quarter, and they were fired on the spot. Public
Wow.
And again, that just sends shivers down your spines, right? That's kind of jerks I've worked for.
Right.
But yeah, you have to be able to handle pressure. I think that's another trait for salespeople. And you either crumble or you get really strong.
I would agree, because again, it takes a certain, personality to always be like on the grind, yeah, because with sales, you're only as good as your last month, and so you almost have to start from square one again.
Every quarter, day one, everybody's at zero.
Yep, exactly. So I would agree with you. It takes a certain type of person to have that, internal fortitude to keep going when you're, the months are bad, whatever else, you get a bunch of doors slammed in your face. Hey, man, that's the last phone call, get out of your mind. On to the next.
Yeah.
So yeah, that would be something I would agree to.
Yeah, the last one I really think about, and again, I think about what made the difference between the great sales reps and the average sales reps. And the great sales reps, frankly, never forgot about building pipeline, right? In sales, especially enterprise sales, where a deal could be $6, $7, $10 million. There's a lot of sales reps I met that only worked on that one deal. They treated it like a special egg, and they tried to coast it to the finish line. But the best of the best were doing that and still building pipeline, which means two things. One is if they got the big deal closed, they would have a lot of accelerator money on top of it.
Right.
And it also meant if that big deal failed, they could probably still get to quota because they never forgot that the pipeline behind it. So the ability to multitask, the ability to keep your brain in two different places, right? You're negotiating a $10 million deal here, and then you're going to an entry-level call here. And, it's wildly stressful if you do all of this.
I think a lot of beginner sales reps, that's a skill set that you definitely have to build as far as multitasking, because it's difficult, because you got to somewhat break up your focus into like multiple situations that otherwise you can't get any of them done. So I mean, sales isn't for everybody, but when you can excel at that, I mean, from what I've seen, every place I worked at, salespeople always usually made the most money. So,
Oh, for sure. I would tell you, every company I've been at, the 10 to 1 ratio is 1 to 1. 10 to 1 is the best. 1 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 to 1 is the b Oh, I want to be accurate here. Probably the top 5 sales reps every year made more than the CEO, at least before stock options. Just
I was,
yeah, before stock options.
yeah. I was gonna say, yeah. I mean, because I know my
Yeah, those
CEO,
options are pretty good. Yeah.
yeah, I think they're gonna be making a little bit more money than me down the road. But anyway, yeah, I would agree with you, there, brother. It's just, it's a whole different, you got to be a whole different animal, really, to be honest with
Yeah.
you. You know,
Yeah. I agree.
you got to be, yeah, you got to have so many different skill sets all rolled into one body. You know, it's just,
Yeah. And the ability to handle stress. I think that is the great, that's where I saw most sales would burn out
correct,
is the
because they look at
stress.
stress differently, right? Like
Yes.
me, I look at it as a challenge. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? There is no
Yeah.
stress.
You eat stress. It doesn't
Oh,
crush you.
with milk and all the, oh, we do a big bowl of stress every day, brother. But yeah,
That's
I
awesome.
think it's just in perspective, because if you let that kind of get to you, then yeah, you could start to crumble. So you gotta stay, relaxed, and so your mind is clear and you're not
Yeah.
panicking, and you know what I mean. So, but all of that together with, if you're going to be a good salesperson, you really need to have the proper operational team to support, because you're going to bring in all the leads, and if they get stuck there, nothing happens. And so there's a little bit of team play and all
For
that as
sure.
well. But yeah, part of that skill set to bring in the leads would be sales, but the proper operational support team is vital. So, but
Agreed.
yeah, no, I think, Cody, it's almost like, I don't know, common sense to some degree that, yeah, that's going to be a really strong skill set. Because I don't know, unless AI is going to know certain nuances of conversation
Not
while it's
happening.
happening, you know what I mean? I don't think the technology is up to that point yet. I don't think it's learning fast enough to kind of know that stuff, to read the
No,
room.
and
right?
again, I don't know about you, but I call into these support desks and I get this stupid automated voice.
It's,
I
yeah.
freaking hate those
Hi,
things.
this is Molly, your
Blah, blah, blah.
AI
Yeah.
helper or whatever. Who can I transfer your call to? You're like, hello, is this, you just want a real person. So
Yeah.
that human connection, at least in my position, what I do, it's so vital. There's people that call me to this day that I've talked to 5-10 years ago that just remember me because, the interaction.
You did what you said you're going to do. You
Follow
delivered.
through.
They don't
Yep.
even go anywhere. Yep.
Yep.
Exactly.
So
very cool.
But,
well, Stephen, if somebody wanted to start a file with you or talk about the 50-40-10 or 90% CLTV or Fast 50 or all these amazing loan products you offer, what do they do?
Just shoot me an email down there, sdow@velocitymortgage.com. In the subject line, please put the acronym ORAAT. It makes it easier for me to find the emails, because sometimes I just get a flood of them. Otherwise, in the body of the email, brief description, what you're looking for. Property address is going to be super helpful, at least city and state to make sure I lend there. And then maybe, mid-FICO score and the best phone number to reach you at. And I'll typically be in touch within 48 to 72 hours.
All righty, folks. sdow@velocitymortgage.com. Uncle Steve, thank you, buddy. Take care. Have a great week.
You too, Mike.